Bit 16, you've never seen a review like this. Weird old games you cannot tame, this world that you miss. SNES Man is the champion, he is 16-bit. SNES Man is the champion, he is 16-bit.
Hello, my name is SNES Man. First of all, I'd like to apologize for delaying this video so long. I had college and other concerns that I don't want to wind you about, but the point is, now I'm back. Today's game is one that you guys requested. It's the old RPG, Secret of Evermore. Let's take a look. Secret of Evermore is an RPG from 1995. It was made by Squaresoft, the company that brought us Final Fantasy and Secret of Mana. It's kind of like Mana's little brother since it's a really similar RPG. The two games are alike, but there's one major difference. Evermore was developed by a North American team. That means that the storyline, dialogue, and the general tone of the game are just way different from the Japanese Squaresoft games. So, let's take a further look at this underrated RPG and get down to gaming. The story in Evermore is pretty interesting. Here goes. Back in 1965, a mad scientist cooks up this weird time warp machine. Then, 30 years later, in the cutting-edge, ultra-hip 1995, we see our hero. The main character is kind of like me. He's a pathetic nerd obsessed with the past. He makes constant references to sci-fi movies from the 50s, and I've got to say that's kind of funny. It's nice to see that the American team behind this game knew how to lighten up and have a good time. That's something we don't see much in Secret of Mana. So, moving on, the hero accidentally fires up the time machine and gets sent into a weird futuristic place. Your first fight is against a couple of robots, but then you get sent into a new world, a prehistoric age. Once you're there, you realize that your trusty dog got transformed into a steroid-pumped monster. From here on, your task is to navigate the strange world and solve the mystery of getting back to your own time period. Pretty straightforward, simplistic plot, but I like it. It's laid back and it lets you focus on the adventure, not plot details. Now for some action. Secret of Evermore is an action RPG. Think Zelda, but with more emphasis on strategy and magic. There aren't any random encounters, just monsters in plain view. This game has the exact same battle engine as Secret of Mana. Every time you attack, you have to wait for your attack to recharge before it can do full damage again. You have to watch a percentage meter at the bottom of the screen to keep track of this. Okay, I know it sounds tedious, but the battle engine is actually pretty unique. Instead of just hacking away at your enemies, you have to worry about strategy and timing. Each enemy has a different way of fighting that you have to adjust to. So, if the monster is slow and awkward like the man-eating plants, you can just run away from them whenever you need to recharge your attack. But if you're fighting something fast like the prehistoric raptors, then you won't always have time to charge. You just have to keep swiping and fending them off, otherwise you'll get mauled and cut up beyond recognition. Because they're so unpredictable, the enemies are a challenge to fight, but it's a good challenge. Sometimes you have to train and level crunch for a while to overcome them, but that's just part of the old RPG spirit of the 90s. No mercy! The controls are great, your character movements are quick and crisp, and you can even dash by holding A. The B button swings your weapon, and the Y button pulls up your menu. Evermore uses a ring system menu that Secret of Mana invented. This is a handy way of controlling things. Just press Y and a bunch of options come up, including your magic, your items, and all kinds of adjustments. You can also control your trusty dog. Is it just me, or does this mutt make the hero look like a pansy? He's got high defense, more HP, and a vicious leaping attack that desecrates all the monsters around you. And the hero? He starts off with a bone. Yes, that's what you have to fight raptors and man-eating plants with. A bone. Good luck. The dog is not only good in combat, but he can help you find hidden items and secret magic ingredients with his sniffing powers. If you ever want to switch between the human hero and the dog, you can do it by pressing select. Sadly, if the human dies, you lose and go to the game over screen. That means the dog can't go on any solo missions and save the day by himself. Lame. So, there are only 2 playable characters in Secret of Evermore. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. It lets you focus on training these 2 guys and seeing them through to the end. Sometimes in bigger, wide-scoped RPGs for the Super Nintendo, like Final Fantasy VI, you can actually get overwhelmed by the amount of characters, but that's not the case here. Secret of Evermore is a lot more laid back than most RPGs of the time. The dialogue is clever and sounds like a competent English speaker wrote the lines. There are some pretty funny moments, like the scene where you're forced to become a gladiator. The announcer of the competition calls you a loser with a stick, and the audience throws fruit at you. It's pretty demoralizing and sad. Oh, you think you're so tough? Well, too bad. We're gonna throw fruit at you and see how cocky you are now. Boo, you suck. Boo. Still, it's not all fun and games. Secret of Evermore is a challenging game. Maybe I'm not the best at RPGs, but I still can't be alone in this opinion. Some of the enemies can knock you out in like 3 hits. True, you can always level up and become stronger, but that takes a lot of effort. Level crunching is as slow as molasses. And the bosses, wow, these things are big and strong and powerful and mighty, and you're just some loser with a stick, as the stadium announcer would put it. The bosses are huge and intimidating. They look so detailed that you could picture them being in an early Nintendo 64 game. To beat these assholes, you need a lot of patience and caution. But once you find their weak points, they're not impossible. Just very, very frustrating. Something that makes your adventure easier is the ability to charge up your weapons. Alright, I'll admit I was stupid about this. I didn't figure out how to do this until hours and hours into the game. Here's how it works. Once you level up your weapon skill to level 3, you can hold down the attack button and then unleash a special move. They take forever to charge up, but they are well worth the effort. They're freaking devastating. Hurricane devastating. Tornado devastating. Well, not quite, but still, they're pretty cool. The most confusing part of the game for me was the magic system. In this, it's called alchemy, but it's the same idea. Instead of using magic points or some sort of meter, you make spells by collecting ingredients. Each spell needs different parts to make. For instance, every time I want to do a little fireball spell, I need to have 1 piece of wax and 2 units of oil. This seems like an overly complicated way of pulling off magic. Sure, some people will love the creativity that Evermore is doing, letting you piece together your own ingredients, but I just don't enjoy it. It makes me reluctant to ever use magic because I'll run out of ingredients so quickly. Oh well. The graphics are really good in Secret of Evermore. The art style is a bit subdued and gritty for an RPG, but it still has bold colors once in a while. All the characters look detailed, the animation is smooth, and the monsters look and act differently from each other. The human enemies act like humans, they attack carefully in patterns, and the monsters act stupid and aggressive, like monsters. They clearly packed a lot of data into a little Super Nintendo cartridge. There are tons of different areas to explore, enemies to fight, and people to meet. There are 4 separate areas in time that you can come across. A prehistoric time, an ancient civilization time, a medieval time, and a future time. This helps break up the monotony by giving you new enemies and new challenges every time you warp to a new area. The music and sound effects really help to immerse you into the setting. The battle sounds are crisp and nice, like when you kill a little spider and it goes squish. So satisfying, that should be my ringtone. What's up? Now about the music. Instead of big melodies, Evermore uses a subtle little ambient soundtrack. If you're in the jungle, you hear forest noises like little birds and other animals. If you're in a crowded market, you can hear a ton of voices. These sound effects are great, almost CD quality at times. Sadly, there aren't many memorable songs in the game. One of the only tunes I can think of is the intro theme. That ominous piano sound is so awesome. Things to make it better. A simpler magic system. The alchemy style might have been ambitious, but it ended up being awkward. Make the dungeons less confusing. I got lost in the mazes a lot, but that might just be because I'm bad at navigation. Make the level up system quicker. It took me a long time to be strong enough to kill the bosses. And finally, put a few more memorable songs in the game. I know it was going for an atmospheric style, but I still could have used some catchy music once in a while to liven things up. In conclusion, Secret of Evermore is a very good game. Is it better than Secret of Mana? That's a matter of opinion. I personally enjoyed Evermore more because of the funny dialogue and the richer graphics, but some people might prefer Mana, since it has more playable characters and a more traditional magic system. Still, no matter which one you like more, what's important is that they're both solid, fun RPGs. Secret of Evermore, my favorite of the two, scores an 8 out of 10. So that's Secret of Evermore. I hope you guys liked the review, and it's just nice to be back. So, to end this on a positive note, let's relax with a cover song I did from Secret of Evermore.